Hi, my name's Nick Davis, international psychotherapist, hypnotherapist, and expert in body language. And today I'm very privileged to be joined by Dr. Anita Bhat.
Hi, Nick. It's such an honor to be interviewed by you. I share your passion to bring blast to the world.
I so appreciate that. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure, I'm a doctor of psychology, and a certified hypnotherapist, and I specialize in trauma. So I work with clients of all ages who have been afflicted by, by trauma of all types. Could be trauma from, from war. It could be trauma from a toxic relationship. Work with a lot of clients who are coping with narcissists in some shape or form in their lives. Work with trauma from childhood, abuse, abandonment, neglect, bullying. Yeah. And it's my passion. I just believe trauma shouldn't be a life sentence for anyone. So I've been
That's
investing myself in, in learning and getting training in the techniques that will most powerfully, quickly, and permanently heal trauma. And I'm amazed that working with the brain, you can actually permanently heal trauma and PTSD,
so that
CPTSD.
that brings me on to my next question. So can you tell me about how the blast technique has helped you and your clients?
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. So I was your hypnosis subject, and I shared a personal traumatic experience in my life. For those who don't know, so it was about 10 years ago, and I was someone very close to me was shot and killed in front of me by a sociopathic narcissistic ex-partner, and who then took his own life. And so I did EMDR after this, and that relieved me of the crushing pain that I felt in my heart. But what I realized is that I still couldn't really talk about what happened, because I still felt just so much just horror and fear and just an overwhelming sense of shame, because I
Yeah,
suffered a secondary trauma of being blamed for it
yeah,
um, by by certain people, and it's no fault of their own. I mean, people just don't know how to handle trauma, especially of this
yeah,
magnitude. Yeah, and so that just created so much shame and guilt. And so through the blast, so I remember I had all those experiences of visceral, like, sense of panic and horror and fear and guilt. When we started, my
yeah.
distress level was at a 10. Then within, I don't know, it was like 5 minutes. It was definitely less than 10 minutes. I was blown away, Nick. I was down to a zero. And when we tested the power of the blast, you said try to make that memory as horrific,
Bad
as
as you
bad
can.
as you possibly can.
Yeah,
And I couldn't even recall it. It was phenomenal. I mean, like I said, I did EMDR. I've done so much different trauma therapy, and nothing was as powerful. And after that, like, I just felt like an incredible weight was lifted off of me. And I was talking to a client with PTSD and telling him all about the blast, and very easily, effortlessly, casually, I just told him about the traumatic experience that happened. And he said, "That happened to you?" I said, "Yes, it did." And I realized, wow, I'm talking about it because of the blast. And I've been talking about it with loved ones with a sense of detachment,
yeah,
because it truly feels like it's in the past. And I know to heal trauma, you really have to take that traumatic memory out of your emotional brain and process it by the whole brain and
yeah.
leave it in the past where it belongs.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, the great thing is just looking at your body language is how comfortable you are talking about it now. Whereas I remember when we first spoke about it and you were like, I don't know if I even want to talk about this. I haven't opened up about it in 10 years. And it's so nice because I often think, because you were saying about trauma being and PTSD being a life sentence, and you had 10 years. And what's really wonderful, I think, is you don't have to talk about your traumas, obviously, but I find it so freeing when you can talk about something that used to imprison you in the past. And it's lovely to be able to see you.
thank you. And more than that, so when it comes to the guilt, the overwhelming sense of guilt from being, blamed for my association with this person, you had told me that the way that when blast blast will free me. I'll know that blast has freed me when I can speak up, to
Yes.
this people, when I can really assert myself and release the anger in a healthy way. And I was really shocked because shortly after I did speak up to the people I needed to, and I said, it's not okay. It's not acceptable to blame me for this because didn't have control over this person's actions. And
Wow.
I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. It is not okay. And I continue to speak up with so much strength, and the guilt has dissipated. It's amazing.
It's
Like, I didn't
lovely.
realize
It's
how much I Mhm.
It's so
needed
nice to be able to
to.
see you talking like that, because you are really a living embodiment of Blast. You've been through it. So
Mhm.
tell me a little bit about your clients, because you've used this. How long ago was it? Did we do the Blast? I forget. Was it?
Couple months ago, I believe.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was. Was it? It was 2023, wasn't it? I think
It
it was
so
before
I
Christmas. Was it? Let me.
It may have been before Christmas, I don't recall. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I can double check, but it's
maybe it
been.
was more than it was a few months. It
Yeah.
was,
So let me know about you, because you've used this with a few of your clients and stuff, and have they had?
yes, absolutely. So my clients, like I said, are also so passionate about, inspiring everyone to try Blast. So they've allowed me to take down their words so I can share
Oh,
them.
yeah, if you don't mind, that'd
Yeah,
be fantastic. Thank you.
absolutely. I'm so grateful that they allowed me to do this. So, okay, one of my clients, she's a mother, and she's been experiencing like debilitating, panic attacks and anxiety from her child panicking about going to school, and
Yeah,
panic during COVID. And she came to me and said, like, nothing has helped. Like, I'm just going to be living with this anxiety, forever. And then we did the blast,
yeah,
and she said, I just a week after, she said, I just can't believe it because my daughter was choking on something, and normally I would have been like in a fetal position, like, in a ball, like panicking. But I was cool, calm, and collected as I just asked her, like, do you want me to go in there with tweezers, or do you want to drink some water to get that out? And
wow.
said I just couldn't believe it. Like, I couldn't even believe who I was in that moment. And said my daughter was puzzled. She said, yeah, okay, you can go in with tweezers. And she said, I did that very calmly, very, yeah, in such a relaxed manner. And so she told me, this is now a couple months after the blast. She told me it's been life changing. It's taken my body out of autopilot fight or flight mode. It's given me back power. I
Wow.
have control of things. I feel more relaxed, more present. I feel more relaxed than I did even before any trauma in my life. And that was huge to me. That was huge. Now I know what it feels like to be relaxed. I'm much more aware of
Wow.
when my brain goes into overthinking mode. I notice my body is held in the cushions. I feel so comforted, so safe, like I'm on some kind of drug. Life is wonderful.
Oh, that's
Isn't that,
incredible, isn't it?
isn't it incredible? Like, she feels just so, she said, I'm a different person. And even my husband notices. Said,
Yeah,
used to be like every day after school, there was a time and she just started to panic. And that's because she was, emotional brain was triggered then,
yeah.
reliving the past, trauma. She said, now I'm able to just go outside and enjoy the sunshine. I'm
Wow.
able to, yeah, just like really like taste the food that I'm eating when I have
How,
dinner with
how,
family.
how do you feel as a therapist having this tool, Blast?
Oh, I feel it just empowered me. It's empowered me because, like, I know that when a client is stuck in a traumatic experience, within 10 minutes I can change their lives. Thank you so much, Nick. It,
Honestly, what
it's
what would you
phenomenal. This
what would you
tool,
say to people watching this video, who are thinking about doing Blast?
absolutely do it. It will set you free. It will set you free from trauma that is stuck in your emotional brain, that you have not been able to free yourself of in with any other therapy you've tried. it will allow you to put that trauma back in the past so you can move forward in your life. And when you have that emotional distance from that trauma, you will see it differently, you experience it differently. It won't even be a thing anymore. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you about another client.
Yeah.
Um, so she's a woman who just could not um she she had a very abusive, toxic ex, and she said before blast, um, I'm remembering him. He was so condescending. He was standing solid physically in front of me, making me feel small. I felt like everything I did, he was there. At the end, it was so hurtful the way he treated me. And the image of my ex husband, I was waking up with panic attacks, trembling head to toe because of vivid dreams of him looking at me. And she said 2 months after, now I'm trying to look at him. It's like an outline. I can't see his clothes, his facial expression. Like he's just over there. It's just an outline. Doesn't matter as much. Now, yeah, whatever. I don't care. And she said the panic attacks, they stopped immediately after the blast.
Wow.
So she said immediately after. And like I want to I want to tell you all, like, if you want to blast out a toxic ex, come to me. Come to me. Like, it is phenomenal. Okay, what it's doing for my clients. Another
So,
one,
oh
uh-huh.
yeah, please no, carry on.
Another one just told me she couldn't get a toxic ex that she left out of her mind, and she was trying to connect to her current partner, but
Yeah.
every time she got close, like these intrusive images, it's like her brain and body were just hijacked by
Yeah.
these, these images, these memories of her ex. And she said, before the blast, I felt fear in my stomach, tension and shortness of breath, so much sadness and crying. And just 1 week after, she said, I love that the blast is working. I feel no emotional trigger anymore. The thoughts will come up of him, but I feel detached. I don't have the visceral gut reaction of panic, fear, anxiety in my stomach. And it allowed me to communicate my feelings easier with him, her current partner, in the moment.
Oh,
That's what
wow.
it's done for her. She's in awe. She's like, I can't believe it. One
Yeah.
client said to me, did I just get punked? Like, how? How? I've had this trauma
Yeah.
like my entire life. And
Wow.
this is powerful too, an adult male with PTSD, an Army veteran. So he told me that he's been triggered by just the thud of, like, his kids jumping off a bed and landing on the floor. Said it felt like, if to him it felt like a reliving of rocket attacks when he was in
Yeah.
war. hmm And he said before the blast, he experienced anger, frustration, loss of control, fear, panic, agitation, restlessness, felt very sweaty, hard to breathe, felt his heart throbbing, head pounding, feeling red, just freaking out. And immediately after the blast session, he said, I feel really relaxed. It was more than a decade ago. And that was the phrase that we had really encoded in his subconscious, his
Yeah.
unconscious. It was more than a decade ago. And he said, it feels like just a memory. Then I followed up with him 2 weeks later. He said, this is amazing. This is amazing. The kids were jumping off the bed, making loud thuds. And before the blast, I would have yelled, I would have lost it. But after, I didn't get super frustrated. It didn't bother me. It felt really different. I
Wow.
had much more control over how much I let things bother me. My responses were less intense. I felt safe and secure. I just told myself it was more than a decade ago, and I relaxed.
That is incredible.
Wild.
Honestly, the feedback do you want to know when you actually did the blast course? Because you've forgotten when it was. I'll
Yeah,
tell
I
you the
did.
date. The 7th of October, 2023.
Okay.
And that's why, because it feels like it was quite soon, but time flies when you've had blast. It just feels, and it was 4 months ago, and here you are now making the difference to so many people's lives, Anita. So, can I ask you, if people want to work with you, you're obviously doing some sterling work here, and you're based in North Carolina in the USA. How do people find you if they want to work with you?
Okay, so I'm still creating my website, but they can email me at thisdayyourlifechanges@gmail.com.
Oh wow, this day
You
your
like that?
life changes at
This day your
gmail.com.
life changes. With the blast, there is no way, your life will not change.
Oh, wow.
This tool is
Anita,
so powerful. Thank you, Nick.
thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you so much for sharing your story and all your wonderful client stories as well. That's been amazing. Anita, thank you so much for your time, for sharing those things with us.
You are so welcome. Thank you so much. I'm honored to interview with you.
You're
Have
welcome.
everyone try the blast. Contact
Definitely.
me and I will set you free.